Okay, so we are taking a look at Plungebot's Playroom, and I am joined by Andrea. Thank you so much for coming on the stream. All right, so can you talk a little bit about your background in game development and your role on this project?
Uh, I am a 3D artist, like a professional 3D artist. I have like this year is 9 year of experience in this field.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I work mainly for indie games. I worked at the Shopee Keep series. It was like a moderately successful indie game franchise. We did
Nice.
like 3 games. Yeah, as a 3D artist. This game specifically, I did the 3D art,
Mhm.
and I was the project lead because
Okay.
this game was made by all people from my city, and we worked like in person. Because like one of my dreams, my missions is to like develop a game dev community in my city. It's in Sicily, and
Nice.
where we are, it's not like that common, like being in game dev. It's something that is still viewed like as something distant, as something crazy,
Hmm.
something not like very common to be in this field. So I'm trying to develop like a community because there are a lot of people who do this, but there isn't like a community in my city of people who do this.
Right. Yeah, no, that's super neat. I mean, have you found any, like, are there any board game meetups or anything like that?
Board game?
Yeah.
Uh, you mean like actual tabletop game?
Yeah. Just I ask that because in places I've lived, like while there isn't necessarily a dedicated game dev meetup, there's at least an opportunity to engage with other people who play and
Oh
maybe
yeah,
even
yeah,
make
yeah.
games.
Yeah, well, we were hosted, like the place where we did the game jam is
Hmm.
an association here in city that they have like computers for esports and
Oh wow.
tables for playing tabletop. It's like a little community that is growing of people who share love of games, and there are like events and stuff like that. It's Redshift Gaming, and they actually like gave us like 6 computers in their in their cyber cafe thing, and we worked from here like in person.
That's super cool.
Yeah, was a nice experience, very tiring, but a nice experience. And we had a group of both experienced people with background like in production like me,
Mhm.
and the people who just like opened Unity for the first time and were just like student of information technology.
Nice. Yeah. So I saw there was a relatively large team. How many
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
there?
We had we had 9 people. Uh, uh, of these, like uh, 3 are like professionals,
Mhm.
and the rest are either student or like total beginners that wanted to join and see this world.
Nice. Well, I think I might have trapped myself in this one.
Yeah. I think you should reset.
That's fine. Yeah, I appreciate that so far the levels have been like a nice, slow introduction to the different mechanics in the game. Just
Yeah,
between,
yeah. Our game designers did a nice job in this.
whoops.
uh,
Okay.
because they wanted like to actually introduce people to the various mechanics without having to outright telling what to do.
Hmm.
Like you now know that the cubes, the letter cubes, you grab them, but
Yeah.
it isn't stated anywhere. You just know that because you tried in the other levels.
Yeah, and then the train, you kind of pull that like to a 50-50 position
Yeah,
between the
yeah, yeah,
two.
yeah.
Oh, and I think that's something I didn't notice, but I'm just seeing now is that the star resists
Yeah,
you trying to grapple it.
yeah, because it's a weird shape, so the suction cup cannot proper grip.
Hmm.
That was
Okay.
the reasoning.
All right.
Yeah, This level is actually tricky because it relies on a move that you can do only early.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But there's a great suggestion here from Eddie Nardo about making a global game jam
Yeah, yeah,
event.
yeah, yeah. I actually hosted one, like for the first time this year. I hosted the Global Game Jam. I was like the representative in my city,
Hmm.
and that was like the start for this year. We participated in this Ludum Dare and the last Ludum Dare as a team assembled like with people from here, and all started from the Global Game Jam. Yeah, and we plan to do it again.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a great suggestion. I have not had good luck with Global Game Jam. Every time I try to participate, something goes wrong, and I've tried to stream it, and then no one tunes in and no one submits their games. It's just there's no good online community for the Global Game Jam the same way that there is for Ludum Dare and especially for GMTK. There's a lot of people looking to get their games played, but for Global
Yeah,
Game Jam, like despite it being a quote unquote global game jam,
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah.
For me, it's like a paradox because the Global Game Jam, the name is Global Game Jam, but it's actually a local game jam.
Yeah,
Because in the
exactly.
end, you participate with people like in place, in person, and stuff like that, you know. And you only play the games of your area, basically.
Yeah.
Rarely I've seen people trying games from other global game jams. While the Ludum Dare is truly global. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. So a bit of a mismatch, but it's I do understand what they're trying to do. I know that there's like this significance to encouraging that kind of like local game
yeah,
jam,
yeah,
but
yeah,
at the same time, I don't know. I came from a community where there already were local game jams. So the fact that there was also this global game jam, but it's only local and you I, even in the middle of the pandemic, they were surprisingly against people participating remotely, which was also really weird. So I don't know.
Well, that I think depends on the game jam because when there was the pandemic here in Italy, that
Mhm.
early on we were it like particularly bad.
Yeah.
Uh, we did it like full remote. In fact, I participated in a game jam that was like in the neighboring city.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that the expectations can be set by the local jam organizers and that it's not just their
Yeah.
global policy. But yeah, I do remember it being like weirdly insisting on being in person or just not running at all because of the pandemic. But anyway, that aside, can you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind this game?
Okay, so starting about limited space, of course, the first thing that came out a lot was doing a puzzle game.
Hmm.
In the end, we settled for for a linear puzzle game like this that you have to move in a line.
Hmm.
And we were figuring out how we make this interesting, because I mean, it's a fairly common concept, you know, the linear puzzles like that you can just move in a line without stopping. It's pretty common. So what twist we can bring, and then or to the artist like actually draw a cute robot,
Hmm.
and we had like the idea, okay, let's put a suction cup instead of the hand, and he grabs like to reach the point. And the fact is, he is not like an actual robot; he's a toy.
Yeah.
So we like then took this team and like ran for all the graphics and the actual gameplay. So you are testing like a new toy for kids.
Yeah. No, I love the idea and the it's a really like cohesive art style as well. Very cute, very friendly. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right. I think I've solved this level.
Yeah.
There we go. So the funny thing is I've actually made a somewhat similar game in terms of but it's not quite a puzzle. It is just also a game where you have like you can sort of travel in these straight lines. But I like that the suction cup mechanic gives this sense of like not just you traveling in a straight line, because mine was more like, for anyone familiar with the Pokemon franchise, early games in the series had these like ice puzzles where you would like slip
Yeah,
along the
yeah, yeah.
floor. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
But this, with the added like visual language of the suction cup, it gives you a much cleaner idea of, okay, I can also pull stuff towards me. I'm not just traveling straight ahead.
Yeah, yeah. We
Um,
wanted like to visually like communicate this pretty clearly.
mhm.
Actually, in the development of this game, can you guess which of these features, like the various, the various mechanics that you can interact with, is the more difficult to program?
Of all the things you can interact with,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially in this level, there is one.
I mean, it's the 90-degree bend. That's my guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. That was totally a nightmare. Our programmers like didn't sleep like for 2 days to actually figure out how to make it work.
Mm,
And in the end, it works, but it's still kinda jaggy.
hmm.
And you cannot notice because the game designers were pretty clever. But actually, it's not coded that you can bring like the medium cube, the train in one of these, because
Oh,
doing that would have been like crazy.
I see. I see.
And also, you cannot like chain multiple of that like in a row. I mean, you can do it, and actually we tested it in editor. That technically you can do it, but it's
Hmm.
like horrible to see because like
Okay.
all the animation gets like the you start moving diagonally and stuff like that.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, but by the way, you had it solved and you
Oh, okay.
restarted.
I thought I screwed something up. I just I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
So that's okay.
you
I know how to get
actually
back.
maybe we were talking and you didn't catch it, but you can press spacebar to raise the camera to see
I
like.
Yeah, no, no, no. I did see that I could do that, but that it kind of makes me nauseous to have the camera rotate like that.
Oh,
So I
okay.
just haven't been using it. If you see, like I've been closing my eyes while I allow the camera to
Oh,
sort of switch, because
okay, okay.
once it's settled, then it's fine. But it's just the motion of the camera is actually
Oh,
nauseating. And
okay.
that's nothing wrong with the game. I'm just extra sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Y-
So
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know people who have problems like this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but this is why I thought that I'd done something wrong, because I end up in this position and I'm looking for, huh?
Yeah, there is a clear way to reach it.
Okay, well, I'll keep experimenting and I'll see if I can figure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
out. Um, but anyway, can you talk a little bit about the actual development process of the game?
Oh, basically, yeah, we started like we wanted to do a lot of mechanics for
Hmm.
this. There was planned like uh, breakable bricks and breakable floors too, and stuff like that. Uh, but in the end, the feature creep was crazy, especially for integrating the diagonal one. So
Hmm.
we settled with like less mechanics, but a little bit more polished.
Yeah.
I did all the 3D art, and I was helped by a very good 2D artist that was like at her first jam,
Hmm.
and in general at her first experience with game dev, that like provided me with with little concepts, little little drawings of the various things to help me like visualize better what we wanted to do. I
Nice.
actually teach their Substance Painter like from scratch. So she textured a couple of she helped me texture a couple of assets. We had three programmers, one very experienced that is like my actual like partner in game developing,
Hmm.
and another two that were like students that very wanting like to collaborate and stuff like that, that they needed a little bit guidance to actually help, but in the end they worked their off. I don't want to say bad words.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. I
But
mean, yeah, I appreciate when people do their best not to swear on stream. It doesn't, I usually
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
but you know,
I do it on my stream, but I would never do on another stream.
I know that's fine. I appreciate it.
Uh, so yeah, and then we had a couple game designers that they were like very keen on providing us like with a game development document that in the end like nobody read
Mm,
because of course
yeah,
that's
no time.
yeah, there was no time. Uh, but they were like always with us, like giving feedback, and in the end, like in the last, we did basically the majority of the levels in the last 4 hours of the
Oh
jam.
wow.
Yeah, because when you do a game like this, you have to be sure that like all the mechanics works to do a
Yeah,
level
yeah,
with
yeah.
the mechanics. So we were like uncertain like till the end if the diagonal thing was to work. And
Right.
so yeah, in the end we were like one game designer was like crazy with a tile map software outside the Unity,
Mhm.
and he was like drawing level upon level, and me and another game designer was like creating the level like in engine.
Right, right. Wow. Yeah, no, I mean it's a really good approach that you're making sure you're not building content out of something that might just not work ultimately. It
Yeah.
just it really does sort of push things right to the end. I mean, so you didn't have the opportunity to start with some like basic mechanics that you were pretty sure were going to work?
Yeah, we had,
Mm.
uh, but they were like the basic, the
Just the
basic
block
cubes.
movement?
Yeah, the blocks and the spring. So it was the. I mean, we preferred to wait because we were like confident that we will have time to build the levels because
Hmm.
we were pretty fast for that. So we waited to have like whole tool set complete for this.
Wow.
Uh, Also, like we did sorta of assembly line to do the levels because
Yeah.
it was like this. The first game designer draw it like on paper or like on his tileset software. It passes to the other game designer who like take all the prefabs from Unity and make the actual level, and they then pass to me that I do the last graphic pass, like changing the lighting, adding props and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
we,
I
we did
mean,
we did like this, and we were able to do like I think we did like 12 levels in like 4 hours or stuff like that.
that's I mean that sounds like the way that it sounds like your professional experience came in handy there because that
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
the
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I have worked all my career in indie games where
Yeah.
you are always like strapped for time and understaffed, so you need to actually be efficient with doing things. Also, this is like my wait, let me check
Mhm.
actually. This is my 15 Ludum Dare that I
Wow.
participate. Yeah. And I did it with various teams, with international teams alone
Mhm.
and such. And now the last two games, and I hope the next games are with this like locally assembled team. And it's something that I like because it's building a community.
Absolutely. And not to mention there's just a different energy you get from participating and working with people in person.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different. Totally different. We were like there, like uh, suffering together through this.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. So how many levels are actually in the game?
There are 24 levels.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh,
So does it
like the first half,
say
the first 12 levels, as you guessed correctly, were
Oop,
like the tutorial levels because it introduces you a mechanic, and then the next level it make you apply that mechanic.
I'm so glad you have a functioning menu system because I was so worried
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
would
yeah.
just like quit and lost my progress. Okay,
No,
no.
no,
So I'm on Yeah, I see. I'm on 19 out of 24. Well, I don't know if I'm going to
That
get through
that
all of them.
that was a feature I requested like with uttermost priority because I knew that something like this would happen because they were like, but it's a short game. People do it in one take, and I say, man, never say never. You can
Yeah.
frustrate a lot of people if you don't do that.
Yeah, just by mistake. And that's it's definitely
Yeah,
something I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate. So the fear, yeah, because I hit escape and then like I know the resume button's over there. I see that and somehow for some reason I just clicked on menu instead and then it
The fury here, I surpriseless.
well, create a clip if you want. I mean, um right. So, what was the most difficult problem that you encountered during the jam and what was your solution?
Yeah, one of the problems, aside from the diagonal thing that kept us like awake at night, it was like coordinating people, like teaching them stuff, basic version control stuff like GitHub,
Oh
and
yeah.
to actually, and also another thing that slowed us in the beginning, but then they understand this, and it's the working with prefabs and not in scenes. Because
Oh
when you do stuff like this with like three programmers and various game designers, everyone does his thing, but you have to do it using things that are external to scenes. Because
yes.
if you both work on the same scene at the same time, there are conflicts, there are problems and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in the end, we had some of that problems, but then we will like sit down and teach them like how to proper use the prefab workflow to actually share the stuff better, you know?
Yeah, no, that's super important. I mean, I haven't had to use Unity in the context of a game jam just yet. But I have had to use Unity in the context of like version control. And there have been circumstances where I'm like on the phone for like 30 minutes working through some Git issue because I ended up with a detached head because uh, the other developer likes to work
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
I forget what the term is when you like rebasing. Yeah. So it's a really like it's a really important part of a workflow and I understand why you would do it, but then I end up trying to check out a branch that he's working on and he's rebased some things and I still had some stuff from the previous and it just completely screws everything up on my end and then we need to spend a bunch of time going through a bunch of Git commands to fix it. So I can
Yeah, yeah.
only
No, for this one, we did like without branches.
yeah, yeah. That makes it so
Because
much simpler.
yeah, because it was in person, so I could just tell the guy like, "Oh, wait, don't push, wait."
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad that that was like you were able to get over that hurdle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean that's just experience, you know. That's
yeah,
drawing from experience in
absolutely.
actual, production.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, do you have any plans for the game going forward?
Uh, we we are thinking about it. We are thinking about it. We are like evaluating if it's worth like giving it a little bit more polish and like actually releasing this.
Mm.
We'll see, we'll see. Because yeah, one thing I want like badly to do is like a level pack. Because I feel like that there are countless levels that can be done with this system.
Yeah,
Especially if we manage like to make better the diagonal thing and add a couple mechanics,
absolutely.
then we could do like hundreds of levels, I think.
By the way I just beat that level, was that the intended solution? Because it felt a little awkward.
Uh, I was not like paying 100% attention, but in some levels there are not like only one solution.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I just I moved one block out of the way and I thought I might have to move both blocks out of the way. And I think I didn't use this corner
Uh,
piece at all.
uh,
And
my game designers are very sadistic, and at times they put stuff like just to bait you.
It's a red
They
herring.
tend to
Oh no.
they tend to do that. They tend to do that.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Um, all right. Well, I think I've asked most of the questions I usually do. So if anyone else in chat has any questions that they would like to ask, please do so now. But in the meantime, do you have any social media channels you'd like people to check out, or any other projects you're working on that you would like,
Uh,
yeah, to show off?
Usually, yeah, my Instagram mainly.
Okay.
About projects, like right now, I cannot show anything because I have NDAs and stuff. But
Gotcha.
in the next months, something will come out.
Okay, sounds good.
I just link my Instagram or
Yeah, please feel free to drop it in chat.
okay, it is.
All
Also,
right.
if you guys are more, want something more professional, I can link my art station too.
It's up
With
to you.
my
It's whatever you'd like. If you want, you can put both.
uh, Edinard is asking how did I decide what to do with such a big team,
Hmm.
and if I have had more ideas before this one. Of course, we like had all the ideas, with like 9 people, and there are some people who are at the first experience in game dev, so their ideas is like something out of scope for a
Hmm.
jam of like 100 per. So yeah, my role basically was like the one the sad and unthankful job of the one who said no, no,
Uh-huh.
we cannot
Uh-huh.
do this. No, this is too much. No, no, this is out of scope. No, forget it.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
The-
these look super
you-
cool.
Thank you. You sadly need, and this is the Unity, by the way,
Hmm.
because a lot of people like look down on Unity graphics because they see like Unreal, and
Well,
Unreal is crazy. Okay, Unreal is every 3D artist's dream.
mhm.
But the problem I find with Unreal is like that it seems like that you are on rails basically, because you have to do the things he wants you to do, he expects you to do. If you try like to go off that rails, it becomes to be like tricky. You have to find like hacky solutions.
I
While
see.
Unity for me is more like a blank canvas because
Hmm.
it doesn't help you like to start. It doesn't give you anything,
Hmm.
and you have basically to do everything by yourself. But
Got
from
it.
that, you can achieve basically any art style you want.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like if you want that Unreal art style, I mean, go to Unreal. But if you want to author your own style, then it does make sense that
Yeah,
Unity is more
yeah, yeah.
flexible because you kind of build it from scratch.
Also, sadly, Unity, the only problem with Unity is the management actually, because they tend
Yeah.
to do weird decisions, very weird decisions. Uh, for this time, like the angry mob, like uh, did a stop to this, but I wonder how long. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm learning Godot too.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was learning like the week before the jam.
Yeah.
Actually, we considered to use Godot instead.
Hmm.
But since we had like a lot of beginners, we wanted to do something with that we were like the most experienced team members were more comfortable on doing, because so we can teach something to them.
Yeah.
Because if it was on an engine that we weren't like super familiar with, could have been like difficult,
Yeah,
like
I know
to
what you mean.
at the same time like learning and teaching to people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not really the best time for like some people use game jams as a learning experience, but yeah, especially when you're coordinating that many people and you want to be taking that mentorship role and like specifically helping people
Yeah,
out with
yeah,
something you
yeah.
already know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If it was like only the experienced people, we probably would have tried like Unreal or Godot for the jam. But
Hmm.
since there was like this mix, we didn't want to like to
Yeah.
overscope our ability.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes
Uh,
sense.
do you use Blender or something else? I proudly use Blender. It's an amazing software. and I usually my workflow is that I do the models in Blender and then do the textures in Substance Painter. That is an amazing tool. Very cool,
Nice.
can lead new people into a very good job. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. As I said, my goal is to create a local community of game developers because I've seen it in other cities, even in our same island, even here in Sicily, like
Hmm.
in a city that is like 1 hour of car from us, that has like quadruple or game dev community.
Nice. Oh, that's super cool. I think
So yeah,
it's
I wanted to do something like that in my city too.
all right. Well, I actually just beat the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
great
You
timing.
did. Congratulations. So, what are your impressions on this game?
Yeah,
What do you think?
overall, Um, I think it's really neat. I think they, as you said, that there's a lot of flexibility with the mechanics for expanding on the concepts that we're seeing here and building out more levels. Um, I think that this is something that is just a consequence of it being a game jam game. You don't have the opportunity to play test and see, like, because I got stuck early on with this one level that just took me forever, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah, yeah. The difficulty spikes, yeah, are totally off base because, as I said, we were in a rush to
yeah,
just churn out levels in the end, so we
yeah,
didn't have to proper like evaluate which was difficult than one. Even because when you know the solution, you it's not that easy to like judge the actual difficulty of the levels.
yeah, exactly. So that's the only criticism really is just the fact that like some levels
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like they were
yeah, yeah.
disproportionately difficult, but it's not actually a problem, you know.
Yeah,
I
in
think
game jams, it tends to happen. It tends to happen. Yeah.
if I had one other suggestion, then maybe instead of having the camera like sort of from a perspective and then also from an above view, if you had the time to make it so that you could actually rotate the camera around the world and
Okay, yeah, we thought about this, and
oh yeah,
that
I know you
was
wouldn't have had time.
yeah, that was like our first choice.
Hmm.
We ended having to scrap it because there was a lot of other things to do.
Absolutely.
Actually, we settled for this one, but actually we had to settle of a settlement because in the first thing, and you wouldn't have liked that, like
Mm,
totally, you would have
yeah.
hated it.
Uh-oh.
It was like that. With the space, you can just pick the level, like you pick from the upper side, but you cannot move.
Oh,
We
okay.
wanted to do that,
Yeah.
but in the end, we judged like well, whatever. Let people play with the camera they
Hmm.
prefer.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I think at that point we should have done like a toggle and not an hold.
Yep. I was actually just
And
about to say
yeah,
that.
yeah, we thought of that like it was too late at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, 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 we should have definitely done that at that point.
Yeah. Well, I do
And,
hope that
and
you sorry.
And for the like camera with this
Mhm.
camera angle, it's totally my fault because I want the game to look good.
Yeah, I mean
And
I
from top,
I
and from top down, it's not that it's not that appealing.
yeah, I think that what you might have to do, there's a couple things. First of all, you can do a sort of like forced perspective thing, like um, the Zelda game on the 3DS, Link Between Worlds. Um, if you take a free cam in that game, you realize everything is kind of slanted a bit because the game is top down, but it's kind of like everything looks just a little bit sideways.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's,
yeah, 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 yeah. I know that technique.
yeah,
It tends to, I mean, to work better with like cardboards and stuff like that more than 3D models.
yes, and
Uh,
that's
with 3D models, it's still doable,
yeah.
but it's a little bit tricky.
Oh, absolutely. And that's again, that's a very difficult technique that a like professional development studio like Nintendo was able to pull off. But I don't
Yeah,
expect that
yeah,
to be
yeah.
an easy solution. The other possibility is right now the the camera's very zoomed in on the action, but if it was a little more zoomed out and you could tilt it down a little bit, and maybe you could sort of compensate for that by having the action take place like in a little playpen. So there's like space outside the game, so you can just see from a like a slightly more broad perspective. I don't know if that would
Mhm.
necessarily help. It's just in my mind, I felt like zooming out might.
Yeah, one other thing we considered early was to
Hmm,
like making it like it was like a box, like
hmm,
that you had a
hmm.
box in your hand, and basically you were like rotating this one. But
Yeah,
yeah, we had to scrap that for time reasons, of course.
right.
Yeah, yeah, managing the scope of a game, it's I think the most difficult thing in game jams because
Hmm.
it's something that even if you are an experienced game dev, it can it can hurt you altogether, you know.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking like because if you allow the player to rotate the camera, then suddenly the WASD directions don't make sense anymore. So I think having to keep the camera at a fixed perspective or like rotating between four fixed perspectives so that up, down, like left, right always makes sense.
Yeah,
So
usually we tend when we have like camera rotations, we tend to make the inputs like relative to the camera always,
yes.
and not to the player.
Yes, I just meant that in a game like this where there are only like four valid positions, like if the camera is rotated at a slight angle, then the WASD becomes a little wonky.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. In fact, for that we originally wanted to do like the classic isometric,
Hmm.
but in the end we we don't like that you have to like press diagonals to actually move straight. And that's something like that in I mean in an action game it it is not a big problem
Hmm.
because you just move naturally, you know. But in this one that is actually the movement is more grid-like,
Yeah.
it was kind of weird. So
Yeah.
we did end with going with perspective in the end.
If I was to suggest a really like high effort solution, it would be using the mouse to sort of cast where the possible positions you can go are. So have like a little like hologram of, oh, you can click here and you'll go in this direction, you can click here, you'll go in that direction. And that way, no matter where the camera is rotated, you just know that you can either click on one point or click on another. And that way, if you're about to click on toy block, you can see that the hologram of the toy block is directly in front of the player. And if you're about to click on a train, you're going to see the point at where you both snap to.
Yeah, yeah, that will be like an elegant solution.
It's
That
a very
it
high effort
also,
solution.
yeah, yeah, it's very big effort, but that like gives more visual depth to everything, you know. It makes making moves even more satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the idea of the move previews, because you can do that on the like with the hovering on the cursor, um, doesn't work for controller quite as well. But the and naturally, I think with any puzzle game, you'd also like the ability to undo. But again, this is all just icing on the cake in terms of would never expect that to be in the scope of a game jam. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe next time. No, we
next
tend
time.
to we try to improve every time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, there's the scope of what you can achieve within the game jam, and then there's what you can do with the
Yeah, yeah,
game
yeah.
afterwards. But if it's worth it, right? If there's enough people who are interested in seeing the game develop further.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly, exactly.
well, I wish you the best of luck, Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me on the stream today.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me and actually play this game.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think it's a very clever puzzle. Um, I would love to see it develop further if there's enough interest. And if you do, then please feel free to bring it back on stream if you'd like any more feedback or
Yeah,
playtesting.
yeah, of course, of course.
And of course, any other game jams you participate, any more Ludum Dares or global game jams in future, always feel free to send those my way as well.
Yeah, Ludum there, I hope like if everything like goes well, I plan to do plenty of other Ludum dares.
Okay, excellent. Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you
I
so
mean,
much for.
at the moment I am at 14 in a row, so let's see
Okay,
how much
wow.
I can keep this going.
Sounds great. Well, fingers crossed. And yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. And thanks for coming on. I know it was very late for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's like 2 a.m., but
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
well,
Okay,
it's the game developer, lifestyle being this late, so whatever.
got it. Okay, well, thanks again. I won't keep you. Hope you can get a good night's rest.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, and good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you
Bye
for
bye for now.
watching. Bye.